Welcome back, watch fans. Today we are discussing the world of Rolex, Patek Philippe, and Grifters. Now, make sure you click like and subscribe because it helps the algorithm. And, we need your money, so make sure to send the money now to the channel. Now, back to the topic at hand. Now, on the wrist is the Rolex Submariner. This is the pre-ceramic. This is the only King Tut, or bluesy as the peasants would call it, that you want to own, which is the pre-ceramic, okay? Gold through the clasp and the engraved bezel inside the bezel. Now, today we're discussing these grifters out there that are trying to steal your children's lunchbox money. They want to steal your hubcaps. We're talking about Juan and Kino. We're talking about the OCuck, the JJ Buchiach, the ArchieLuxury, and all these other Chomostani and Buchiachistani and Cuckistani channels out there. These self-proclaimed experts. That's right. Now let me tell you something. Hey, you got that Juan and Kino. Look, anybody who owns modern Rolex, like this, for example, okay, is basically a peasant. This happens to be really a peasant watch, okay, and I'm wearing this only because, I'm going to be consorting with some of the lower classes today, and I'm talking to a lot of peasants in this video. So I want it to be relatable for you tomato cans and you crumb bums out there, and especially Juan and Kino. Now let me give you the bottom line, okay? Let me give you the bottom line, all right? All these so-called experts out there, you got ArchieLuxury, you got Juan and Kino. You got the so-called watch expert, the OCuck. That's the groomer with the size 7 Skechers, built-in pocket squares and the transition lenses, who enjoys basically sharing hotel rooms with young gentlemen. Now that these guys, they have one thing in common, right? They're peasants. Why do I say they're peasants? Because they don't own any real serious watches, right? Anybody can buy a modern Rolex, okay? Anybody can buy a modern Patek Philippe or Audemars Piguet, right? So anybody who buys these watches, it's just mass-produced luxury, okay? I don't even want to use the word luxury because these things are, again, Breghey. Well, these are middle-class watches, right? I don't care if you're talking about 10,000, 100,000. It's mass market, right? Unless you have a Patek Philippe perpetual calendar, a 3940, like the Colonel, like the Colonel, okay? And you have some, serious Patek vintage or other vintage watches, you're basically a peasant. Now, why do I say that? Let me explain. Because it's anybody can buy. Again, when you become really serious about watches or whatever it is, right? If you talk to real collectors, like Ronnie Madvani, people who are real serious, they don't want to wear what everybody else is wearing. They don't want to walk into a room and everybody's got that same tomato can watch that's accessible. You have to understand something. The peasant mindset, which is they're sheep, right? The peasant mindset is like sheep. They want what everybody else has. They want to keep up with the Joneses. The Joneses have a Mercedes E-Class or S-Class or BMW. They want the same thing, right? Now, when you become, when you get elevated, right? When you kind of go up the ladder, right? Then you get into the Bentley, Rolls-Royce world, and beyond that, you want a bespoke car. Now, look, I have to admit, I'm not quite at that level, and I can't really justify, paying $500,000, $600,000 to get the car, with the exact leather and wood package that I want. But really, when you're actually an aristocrat, you order a proper Rolls or Bentley in a unique color, okay? You want something which is going to stand out from the crowd, okay? I don't care if it's like some sort of funky green or yellow interior, yellow leather seats, green leather seats, whatever, purple, okay. By the way, I saw a beautiful Rolls coloring for sale, which is purple. I think they call it, they don't call it purple, they call it some more aristocratic name. I think they call it something with a D. I'm sure one of you guys would know. But anyway, I was like, wow, this is unbelievable. I mean, the leather inside was purple. Now, a lot of you Buchiachs are gonna say, oh, that's kind of gay. It's purple. No. Purple is the color of royalty, because you guys are peasants. You don't know these things, right? But purple, look at Prince. You know, why do you think Prince was Prince? Because it was all about the purple, right? That's the color of royalty. You peasants don't understand these things, okay? And but let me tell you something. I missed out on a purple Bentley Continental. It was like a double purple. Interior, exterior had this like purple type of. You can't even explain it. It's a beautiful color. It's not like what you lowlifes think. Okay, so yeah, that's what we're talking about, right? So but the hoi polloi, the riffraff, they want what everybody else has. They want the Daytona, they want the Omega, whatever. They want the I don't know, the Rolex day date. They want the day date because they think they're, heavy hitters if they have a Rolex mass produced, day date. I don't care if it's a day date 36, day date 40. It's a mass produced watch. By the way, nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with Rolex day date 36, just as long as you accept what it is, right? Like, you don't want to drive Rolls all the time. Sometimes you need like something more low key. So when you consort with the peasants, look, the reality of being an aristocrat is sometimes you have to consort with peasants, with unwashed masses. Like, when I do these videos, in a way, I'm actually, consorting with a lot of you crumb bums, a lot of you lowlifes and degenerates. Now, look, the only way you can escape the matrix, the only way you can escape being a peasant is by either subscribing to the channel, right? Just as a click the subscribe button, which was going to give you kind of, just lift you slightly above, vibrationally, right? Or you can become an enlightened master by joining the channel and contributing $4.95. That's right. It's only $5, and you're gonna have access to our top secret content, and you'll even get perhaps a free watch collection review from the Colonel himself. Unbelievable, but true. Now, look, let me explain. These guys who have modern, mass-produced watches, anybody can buy those watches, right? It might cost you 10 grand, 50 grand, whatever it is, 100 grand, right? Like you got the peasant Philippe. He's got that chronograph. He thinks he's he's a sahib because he's got a Patek chronograph perpetual, but it's really a mass-produced peasant watch, right? So he's really, a guy that is a lowlife, which was what we call him, peasant Philippe, right? Like when you get something which is unique and rare, that means two things. It means two things. One is, it means you have some balls, you have some confidence, and you have a knowledge to go off the beaten path, right? Like we're here slightly off the beaten path, right? You have to have some balls, and you gotta have some knowledge, right? A lot of you guys just don't have any balls, right? You're a bunch of weak cunts. Especially you Canadians and Australians, that's the bottom of the barrel. Let me tell you something, the Canadians and Australians are really the scum of the earth. I think the Canadians are really at the absolute bottom. It's like a real toilet. And that's, of course, where Peasant Philippe and Bear Suka Clooney live in Canada, in Ontario, which is, Peasantville. Listen, if anybody... Listen, Canada is a place for people who are not good enough to get into America. That's basically what it is. I mean, let's keep it real, right? So look, the whole idea is you don't want to wear what all the other scum are wearing. For example, you got this guy Juan and Kino. Like this maricon pendejo, a lot of these hubcap thieves have been deported. Now, this guy's been deported already. Lazy little cucaracha, but again, he's a typical Puerto Rican in Miami, and the Puerto Ricans, they think they know everything, but if they knew shit, they wouldn't be Puerto Ricans. Okay, you understand what I'm saying? It's the truth. Look at Alessandra Ocasio-Cortez. That's his daughter, by the way, Alessandra Ocasio-Cortez. AOC, she was a bartender, right? All of a sudden, she's an expert on everything, right? She's saying that Elon Musk is dumb, right? What do you expect? What do you expect from the DNA of Juan and Kino, right? What do you expect from these Buchiachs, right? But that guy, all he knows is basically modern, Rolex or whatever. I mean, look, he's basically does these stupid videos about the watch market being dead. He's an expert and everything. This guy, all he knows is crap like this, right? He knows about crap like this: modern Rolex, modern AP, modern Patek, Vacheron, just the modern stuff, the hype stuff. Because that's over the last, the guy's like 90 years old, and since the Roosevelt administration, I'm talking about Theodore Roosevelt. Not FDR. He's whatever. Every year he buys a watch. Okay, great. He buys a Daytona or this or that, whatever. Over the years he's picked up some watches, but they're all basically modern, just modern mass-produced watches because he's got no balls. He's got no cojones. Juan, you understand? I know you're watching this. You and Kino, you guys are watching this. You're probably somewhere in La Isla de Cucaracha. You're probably eating plantains, you're eating your chorizo, you're playing hide the chorizo with Kino in his culo, and you know what I'm saying, right? I mean, you have no cojones, because if you did, you would have ventured into some things like the world of Patek Philippe, perpetual calendar. Because listen, anybody who's a real watch collector, anybody who's a serious watch collector would, when I say serious, meaning like, okay, they're really committed. Yeah, listen, this whole thing with collecting, nobody needs to collect watches, okay? Just to get that out of the head. Let's just clear the air, okay? Nobody needs this garbage, okay? But anybody who actually is serious, okay, they really think of themselves, if they present themselves as a serious watch, for whatever that is, right? It's basically like being a glorified baseball card collector, as far as I'm concerned. But if you do consider yourself a serious watch collector, that means you want to have the best of breed. You want to own something which represents the finest example of horological excellence and innovation. And that, my friends, is not this. This watch is best of breed when it comes to Rolex, Submariner and dive watches. But the best of breed is the Patek Philippe 3940 perpetual calendar. Okay, I don't care if it's first series, third series, or whatever, right? Whatever metal it is, I don't really, except platinum. I'm not a fan of the platinum, but whatever. Okay. Now that watch, you have to understand, that is the best watch that Patek Philippe ever made. It's a fact. It's the best watch Patek Philippe ever made. And you know what? Patek Philippe, now again, still their reputation is declining. They're not what they were. They're not. I've made videos about that. But they're still kind of like, it's almost like America. It's the least dirty shirt in the laundry, right? Of all these mass watchmakers, Vacheron, Rolex, whatever, AP, Patek is the least dirty shirt in the laundry, okay? And the 3940 perpetual calendar is, you don't know what that is? You Google it, okay? That is the best watch they ever made. And Patek Philippe is considered, the world's best watch company. I mean, it's not, but, it's like they say Rolls-Royce is the best, they make the best cars. In theory, 100 years ago, they probably were the best cars because, the technology wasn't that good for everything else. But, today, I think, I don't know, I wouldn't even know what would be called. But you understand what I'm saying, right? You tomato cans, you knuckleheads, and you window lickers understand that Patek Philippe represents, the pinnacle of watchmaking. If it's not the best, it's, I don't know who's the best, but they're up there, right? Maybe they are. Actually, technically, you know what? They probably would be considered the best, right? It's like, yeah. I mean, if you say, like, let's say Audi A8, which is the best car that Audi makes, Audi A8, an amazing car, versus Mercedes, I don't know, whatever the new S5s, whatever it is, 580, I don't even know what they have now. But, those cars represent, like, the best technology, blah, blah, blah. You understand what I'm saying. So it's up there, right? So basically, if you want to have the best, then you have a Patek 3940, okay? If you don't have a perpetual calendar, you're basically a peasant. You have to understand that. And you have to deal with it. I know you have to deal with that reality. And Juan and Kino do not own a perpetual calendar. They do not own a Patek 3940. Why? Because they're hubcap thieves, okay? Not everybody can afford a perpetual calendar. Let's be real, okay? Not everybody, is a productive citizen, and delivers value to humanity which allows them to buy a fine watch like that. But here's the thing, but they have no excuse, actually. They have no excuse. Why is that? The reason is because, it is because they could have gotten that watch, a couple of years ago for under 50 G's. That's right, under 50 G's. Today, it's going to 100 already, right? But they could have gotten that watch for under 50 G's a couple of years ago. Why didn't they get it? Because, they got no cojones. They need to have the flashy, AP, the Patek 5711, which is a tomato can Nautilus. They got to have the tomato can watch because, when you're in Miami around other pendejos and maricons and these, these Russians and all this trash that's in Miami, you want to have something that's recognizable. You want to flex, right? You got to have the Aquanaut. And the 3940 is not a flex watch. It really is not. It's how do we call it? It's stealth wealth, okay? It's the stealth wealth watch. It's not for the hoi and the polloi, okay? And you can't walk into what is it in Miami? What's the place? Bal Harbor. You sit down at Le Zoo or Carpaccio. You're sitting outside there with all the trash, and everybody's pulling up in their Lambo and whatever. Nobody's going to understand. Well, actually, no, in Miami, they probably would know a 3940, but, everybody's wearing the Aquanaut, Nautilus, RM, AP, Royal Oak, that type of thing, right? So these Buchiachs, and also, you got the Kakistani, you got the king of, you got the ambassador of Kakistan, that's the OCuck, he's the same way. He's got no balls either, right? He buys just, kind of hype watches that basically, would impress young boys, right? I mean, hype watches that he could use to, impress young gentlemen of presumably legal age. And Archie's kind of the same way also, except Archie, listen, I get Archie has a little bit more balls. He's he buys some stuff a little bit off the beaten path, but again, it's safe. It's all safe stuff. Archie doesn't have any balls because he admitted, he drives a BMW 3 Series instead of a vintage Bentley. Well, not vintage, 2006. Why? You could have gotten that Bentley for the same price because, he's worried about, service costs. Oh my God, service. Well, listen, the truth is, you can't buy a Bentley if you're worried about, the possibility of something going wrong. I mean, it's not, that car is not for the hoi polloi. That's true, but the reality is the running costs are actually very reasonable, actually less than a BMW. But here's the catch. Okay, I'm going to explain to you what the catch is, and I figured this out. I figured out Hello. Oh, how you doing? Let me get out of your way here. All right, you got it? Okay. How you doing? So the key to buying a Bentley or these types of cars is it only works out, if you basically can afford it, right? If you can afford the service, meaning you really need to have like an extra, I don't know, let's call it 25 grand, just like, somewhere, like you're not worried about it, right? But if you're really broke, and you buy like a Bentley, a good deal, something is for sure going to go wrong because it's just that's the way it works. It only happens, they only break down when you can't afford it. That's the irony, right? That's the way these things work. So, but yeah, look, this Buchiach Archie, he's got the leaking Beamer. He's got the leaking Beamer 3 Series, right? The BMW with the nasty vinyl seats. You got the leaking oil. You got the leaking coolant. Probably the whole engine's gonna fall out. This is what happens when you drive BMW. And we know that all BMW people are like the bottom of the barrel, really the bottom of humanity. So where do we go with this? The bottom line is, all these so-called self-appointed experts, whether it's JJ Buchiach, you got Curly, you got, well, actually Curly doesn't, he's not into what, but you're talking about these Trying to think who else is out there. Federico, you got Federico. You got the Dirty Sanchez brothers. You got all the Dirty Sanchez brothers out there. You got what other guys are out there? You got the fake aristocrat with the Dirty Sanchez. You got Pinocchio with the Dirty Sanchez. You got you know what I'm talking about, right? All these mooch bums. You got then you got that guy Tim Masso, another Buchiach. By the way, Tim Masso again. This guy, he knows about movements and whatever. He's like the Bobby Google. He's Bobby Google over there. But his taste is very bad. I mean, he's got a very weird taste. Although he's a fan of JLC, which is because he's into the movements. But he always buys always the weirdest crap, which is surprising because that guy. The guy's making money, right? The guy's making money, and he could buy a decent watch, but he chooses to buy like shitter watches because, I don't know. Who knows with these people, the mental health issues, these low lives out there. All right, guys, make sure you click the like, subscribe button. We'll see you in the next one.